Hello everyone and welcome to this month's Pinterest project. Today we are going to be making some melted crayon art, which I had a lot of fun with, and I hope you guys have fun with too. So we're going to go ahead and make another one here. I'll show you the first one that I made. This is how that turned out. So this is going to be one way to do it, how I go through the video. I'm going to show you another way. They're very, very similar. It's just going to be placement of the crayons and kind of how it melts out. So hopefully we have some fun with this. I am going to go through, in your kits, you should have received a bag of assorted crayons. You should have received a little sticker that is in the shape of a heart, your canvas, as well as a piece of cardstock. What that cardstock is for is if you do not want to make the heart shape for your melted crayon art, you don't have to. You can use that cardstock to create a template that you would like. You'll just need to make sure that you have the cardstock either glued or double-sided tape, but you need like hot glue, a glue that's going to be able to peel back off of the canvas to use as your template to take and have your image around the melted crayon art. So that is just an option that we wanted to give to you guys if you wanted to get real crafty and creative. Could do like a paw print or something along those lines, maybe even a word if you wanted to try that. Or we have the heart, and the heart is super cute and works out perfectly for Valentine's Day, which was this month. So hopefully you guys have some fun with this. So the first thing that you're going to do is you're going to need to get a few supplies from around the house. The first is going to be a crafting knife or a nice sharp pair of scissors that you don't mind getting some crayon on. So I'm going to be using a crafting knife, exacto knife, however you want to refer to it as. So you'll need one of those. You'll need to be very careful with it. You're also going to need some tape or glue, and that is for not only your cardstock, but then the glue is also going to be for crayons. So you will need glue for sure. Tape is just an option if you wanted to use the cardstock. So your glue, your exacto knife, and then a hair dryer. That is one of the most important parts. You'll need that hair dryer so that we can actually melt the crayons. Once you have all of your supplies together, the first thing that we are going to do is we are going to cut down our crayon pieces. So I pre-cut most of my crayons, and I'm using the same amount that was in your bags. I tried to give everyone a couple of each of like the primary colors. You will not have to use all of these pieces of crayon. If you want to pick and choose colors or grab a few other ones from around the house, go for it. Get creative. We love to see that. So I have my last two, my purples right here. So what I'm going to do is there's a couple ways you can peel crayons. This one is probably the quickest. The other real quick way is if you soak them in water for a little bit. That like gets the covers off of them, the paper covers. But this, I'm just going to cut down the side of the crayon. And if you are using a crafting knife, exacto knife, please be very, very, very careful. They are sharp. You can cut yourself. So just like that. Once you slice it down the center, the rest of the paper just comes right off. So I've got my one there. We'll go ahead and do the same thing with this other piece here. Got that. And your line doesn't have to be straight. I don't know if you noticed, but I kind of wiggled on that one. As long as you are slicing all the way through the paper, then it's just going to peel off. Once your crayons are just the wax crayons, then you're going to cut them into pieces. My pieces, I would say, are about 1/4 to 1/2 inch long. If you want to get exact, otherwise maybe like the length of your fingertip. That's another good measurement. Again, be very, very careful when you are cutting these, and you're just going to use your knife to cut them. If you don't want the small piece to just fling off at the end, you can have your fingers on both sides of the crayon, and that's just going to keep it in place while you cut all the way through. I would say out of one crayon, I was averaging between 4 and 5 pieces, if that helps with your measurements as well. So there's our first one. And then our second one here. Okay. And once that's done, you're going to want to clean off your knife. Crayons are a nice kind of delicate wax where they're fairly easy to melt and mold. So usually just kind of like scraping it off with your fingernail or another knife or something along those lines will get your X-Acto knife clean as can be. So I'm going to go ahead and put these back in my bag real quick. And then I am going to get my blank canvas out. Move that off to the side. All right, so we have the blank canvas here. What I'm going to do for this one, I think I am going to actually swap direction. This one you can see I did horizontally. I think I might do this one vertically. So I'm going to move my canvas like this. You're going to pick the placement of your heart or whatever template you did decide to cut out. And you're just going to peel off the heart. What the sticker is that we gave you guys is it's a stencil transfer from like a Cricut machine. So it will peel right off of your canvas when you're done. However, you're going to want to make sure that it sticks really nicely when we start this so that the crayon doesn't get underneath it. If for any reason crayon does get underneath, or if you're using the cardstock and you get some crayon that melts underneath it, I don't know if you could tell from this, but a little white paint goes a long way. I had melting all along here because when I did this one, I used cardstock and I didn't have the edges glued or taped as well as they should have been. And so it got all along here and all along here, and I just filled it in with some white paint and it's good as new. So now that we've got these edges down, you want to make sure you don't have any bubbles. Once we have that down, now we're going to go ahead and glue on our crayon pieces. And this is where I was talking about you could do it a couple of different ways. There's actually a wide assortment of ways that you could do this. So with the first heart that I did here, what I did is I glued all of the crayon pieces around the heart shape. And then when I used the hairdryer, I blew the hot air away from the heart shape. So that is an option if you want to glue your pieces around the heart. You can do that. What I'm going to try today is I'm going to line up all of my colors along the top because I think I'm going to do like a rainbow pattern with my crayon pieces. So I'll line those all along the top, glue them that way, and then when I use the hairdryer, they're all going to melt down. And then when I peel off the heart, you'll have the nice little white heart in the middle. Another way that you could do this, if you want to give it a try, is putting your pieces kind of a little all over the place and then blowing your hairdryer all over so that it's just splotches of the different colors. And it turns out really cool. I've seen a few different Pinterest posts on that one as well. So have fun, be creative, whatever style you choose, you're just going to want to make sure that you glue down your crayons. So that is the step that we are going to start now. So I am going to go ahead and get my crayon pieces here. And I am just going to line them up along the top. I've got my hot glue gun here. Just a little bit of glue. And you'll notice as you're doing this that your crayon pieces, and you can see it right here with this, they start to melt along with the glue. So it's, like I say, crayons are really easy to work with. You can also put the glue there and then stick the crayon on, which actually works a little bit better. So I am going to go ahead and do more pieces of this. And you gotta work quickly though if you put the glue down first, because otherwise it dries right away. That. The amount of crayons that's in your bag will be enough to line an entire side of this. The only thing that you might want to do that didn't come in your kit is if you wanted a different color or if there were specific colors you wanted. So if you only want like red and yellow, then you might need a few more crayons from home. So I'm going to go ahead and finish this line. Like you can see, all I was doing was adding glue and then putting my crayons on top of it. So I'm going to finish up this line, and then when we come back, I will show you guys how we use the hairdryer to melt it. Okay, so as you can see, I have finished off my nice line of crayons here at the top. I've got the rainbow pattern that I kind of wanted. It's okay if you see some of like the strings of the hot glue, because since we're going to be melting all of this, it's going to get all melty and it'll be fine. You'll also notice I've got some extra pieces of crayon left, so we do have, there is enough pieces in here to get you to line the entire top if you would like. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to adjust the camera. We're going to go over a little tarp that I had. What you're going to do is you're going to want to make sure you're in a space that it's okay if like little crayon pieces blow around. And then you're going to want a smaller space where you can actually have your crayons melt on it a little bit. I don't know if you can see on this board. I'll adjust my camera a little bit. That's kind of like the melting that we're going to have. So just a small space for the mess that's going to be, but a bigger space for the crayons to actually blow around. So if you've got like space in the garage, or I know it's cold, so outside probably doesn't work the greatest, but if you've got craft room or basement or just a small space, just that you know that little crayon pieces might blow around a little bit. And then just your workspace for the crayons to melt. So I'm going to flip the camera around, and I am going to show you how we start to melt all of this, and how then we peel the sticker or template, whichever you used, how we peel that off of it. Okay, so I have adjusted our camera here. I don't know if any of you can tell, but this is the library meeting room. So I do have some tarp down because I'm working over a carpet and I don't want that to get any kind of stains or anything. And I did bring my board down here just for easier cleanup for the spot that we do melt the crayons on. So what we're gonna do now, I have my hair dryer all plugged in and ready to go, and I'm gonna talk first because then the hair dryer is gonna make a lot of noise. You guys might want to mute your video for that section. What we're gonna do is we are going to, for this one, I'm gonna blow the hair dryer down so that everything is melting down. If you ever want to move colors, you're just going to adjust your hair dryer so it blows those colors where you want them to move. So if you did do like I did on my first part, let me pull this over this way. If you do want to do one like this, where all of your crayon pieces were around it, this one I blew out so that all of the colors reached all of the edges. If you're doing one where your crayon pieces are kind of spotted across the canvas, then that one you're going to blow all kinds of directions. So I'm going to go ahead and start melting this, and you'll see it making its pattern. And if I have any notes to add, I'll stop the hair dryer. So let's go ahead and get going. I'm going to take a quick break here, and I'm going to just show you guys. It does take a little bit once your hair dryer warms up. Oh, get that back in the camera. But your crayons are going to start to melt in the direction that you want them to. You did notice also I was going back and making sure this was stuck down, just because I don't want the crayon to leak through. If it does leak through, again, it's not a big deal. Little white paint goes a long way. And yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and finish this so that you guys don't have to hear the blow dryer the whole time. And then when we come back, I'll show you how we get that sticker off in the center. Okay, so I have finished blow drying my crayons, at least to the point that I would like. You can cover up your whole canvas if you want. I like the drippy look of the crayon art, so this is where I'm going to stop. You have a couple of options when it comes to peeling off your heart. What I'm gonna do is I like to take the sticker off first and then touch up anything that's on the outside of it. Another thing that you could do is if you want to run very lightly your X-Acto knife around the edges of it and then take it off, that's another option. It's best to do this when your crayons are still soft but not like completely melted and drippy. So I am just going to find a spot here and I am going to peel. And you'll see mine got under just a tiny bit. So I'll probably go over it with a little bit of white paint. But otherwise, that's it. It's awesome. You get your wonderful little silhouette in there, the white silhouette from the canvas. And it's a lot of fun and it's super easy. So I hope you guys had fun and enjoyed. If you could send your pictures of your finished products, we would love to see what you decided to do with it, what colors you used, what type of pattern you did with your melted crayon art. And that's going to be to programs@shorewood-troy-library.org. And I will have that email address up. It's also the same one that you got this video from. So if you just want to reply to the video, we love to see the finished products. We love to put them in our newsletter and really feature you guys. So I hope you guys had fun and we will see you next month. Thanks. Have a good day.